My name is Maria Abramson. I work at the municipality as culture coordinator and responsible for art questions. We need to have a more deepened discussion around art in this community. We often see exhibitions, and we would like to know a little bit more about the process, about the artist, and that is why I'm so very glad to welcome you today to this exhibition with Sebastian Skira. And it is also, I also want to thank Maria for letting us having this discussion, because this is a collaboration, a new international exchange project that Kulturkossan now has started. Sebastian from Cadaqués and your lovely wife, Victoria, who is also your producer.
My producer,
yes.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have you here, and I hope you also could chip in if you want to add something to our discussion. Okay, welcome Jakob. Welcome, sit down. Nice to see you. Sebastian. Well, I'd like to try. Minimalism was something that emerged in the 60s in New York as a kind of a rebellion against the abstract expressionism that was thing at the time. And now it's gone almost 50 years. And at the time it was really, is it art? And now we have moved from that discussion. It has been art for about 50 years, I think. And I was wondering now, when people see you and when people see your pictures, it really moves them, even if they don't have any relationship to art, to minimalism or art before. It's really moving. It's really,
you think so?
Yes, I do. Why do you think it is so?
No, I don't know. I wasn't thinking exactly that, because what I see normally at this time, or when I did it also in Cadaqués this spring, I did also kind of this. My first feeling is that people is a little bit disturbed, like in a positive way, you know, like they don't understand, or they don't know where to put themselves in front of this, because there is nothing, or it's intended to be nothing or empty. So they are, except some people, normally they don't understand pretty much. But then when we start talking, then they start to understand the process that brings me to do this, and then they complete the round, you know. Yeah.
So you mean that you need to have the thinking around. You need to have that information about the process.
Well, I normally
to enhance the
what I
sense.
think normally that what happens to me is that it's not so much what you see, but it's how you see it. So let's say that if you see this in the naked eye and with no information and nothing, it can be, well, depending on your mental plan, but it can be just anything. But maybe if you get the information, if you get the how it's made, why this is there, why is this and not something else? I mean, why there is this white square and not this one here? I mean, so then they understand a bit more, and this is why that what happens to me, that it's normally it's how you see the things and not so much as what is it in front of you, you know? Because I mean, this kind of work I do, that is a process of taking off things, you know, like peeling an onion and getting to the essence of the things. It's a sort of process of alignment between the eye and the heart and light and what my eyes see. And so that's why I make the selection and I put these things there and not other things, you know. So it's a whole big process that brings me to put these things, you know.
So where do you find your objects? Is it just around the corner, or is
No, but it's walking,
Whatever.
driving, moving around. This especially is from the area around Caracas, where I go driving for this last months, and it's this. It's like suddenly, pop, it happens. I see it, and it's like this alignment that happens between all the parts, and I say, oh, there it is. You know, because you can see emptiness everywhere. You know, you can see emptiness here or there, or it's like crazy. You know, but there are some little moments that here you have some examples that these things happens. You know, and it's like magical. And so I get down, it's photo up, and then I just print it almost. I try to print it exactly what I have seen at the same size, the same light, and everything. You know, so I respect absolutely what I see. And I tried not to change anything, you know, and so then it's like more honest, like it's like taking it from the place and bring it with me, you know. Like, but I cannot take the wall because it's very heavy, so I make the pictures easier, you know. And so yeah, that's the way I found them, you know. And but it's more of finding a moment than a place, you know, because sometimes it happened that I saw something and I say, oh, that was one that I have to go somewhere, so I just leave it and I say I will come back later or another day. But then I come back and I don't see it because the light has changed, because I am not the same, because something happened and I don't see it, so I just care. I don't care and I keep going. So that's the way I do it.
It's really interesting because I don't know if so many of you have been to Caracas, some of you, I know, and that is the city is all the houses are connected and they are, to me they are white, and many blue doors. Yes, it's almost like a Greek city. If you look at the aesthetics and the colors. So I was really moved to see your exhibition because I've been there and I didn't see. There is a warmth in the white. It's a warmth in your...
because in fact these ones, let me think. No, I haven't. Here there is anyone from strictly from Caracas. You know, they're all from around, like close or other towns or landscapes or anything. But concretely from Caracas there is no one because, I don't know why.
Yeah, because it's interesting because in Caracas is also very known for Dali, where he painted most of his.
Well, he spent his whole life there mainly.
There and painted almost all his paintings in that atelier, and the surroundings really inspired him. But you, in this particular region, you see something that is more down and toned and simpler and
it's the opposite way, because that is true that because I'm coming from there and I'm so used to see many things, you know, to see like rocks and beautiful things and also seeing his paintings as well, seeing his works that I know a lot because I've been really deep into, and also I worked in his house as a tour guide, so I really went into his life, and maybe all this information I had made me go the opposite way. Instead of putting and adding things as he did, like he was putting millions of things in. Like in one painting, you could see like 10,000 different landscapes and shapes and things. So maybe my way was more of taking off all these things, you know, and getting to the simple things and the more simple. I think maybe that's a reason.
I also want to take your questions about your native in Caracas, right? Yes. But your family comes
from Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah. And then when my parents moved to Caracas because of Dali, and they had this relation, so they moved, and my mother started with a gallery, working in the gallery, then having her own, and so then was always artists at home, and the walls were always full of art everywhere. I mean, little corner tack, piece of art, you know, everywhere. And so that's maybe also a reason why my way was more of always again now taking it off everything, you know. Because I also started at the beginning of my career, started doing paintings and sculpting, but I wasn't that happy, you know, because I was seeing that there was something too much, you know. So I started this other way.
When I found Sebastian in Cadaqués, it was like he was actually opening my eyes, because I do everything. I can't like just take a piece of, and I saw a picture of a part of a scissor, and it was like he was opening my eyes. I started to see my art in another way. So it's because I hadn't choose to take it off, I choose to take it on.
Yeah.
Even more and more and more.
Do you just see nothing really? Or because when I look, I think I see a lot of things going on in your pictures, actually. But maybe it's from within me and not so much
Well,
your intention.
That's the intention, maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course I always see something, you know, but the thing it happens is that what I see or what I want to capture is more of the idea. Of course, there's always something. I mean, when I see these big things of advertising on the roads, of course, you see shapes and you see, but I see the idea of nothing. It's like, wow, there I feel comfortable, I feel confident with this idea, and so I capture it and I take it with me. Or the other things are the concrete walls with painting on top, and in fact it's just hiding graffitis or something that is I talking in close to schools or police stations, you know, like this kind of public spaces where they hide the graffitis. So you say it's another turnaround the idea. So it's like even more of nothingness, you know, because somebody tried to shout and then somebody else came and covered it, and so silence, you know. Depending on its own mind, you can see whatever. I don't know. Just leave it to the viewer, you know. Yeah.
So in fact, nothing can hide a really vivid history.
Exactly.
Would also like you to tell us a little more about another project you did.
It was a project in a very old house, almost abandoned, that used to own Dali and Gala. It was like a huge store with no electricity, nothing, just natural light, and the walls were just beautiful because they were just falling down. And so I selected some fragments of the wall and make the picture, and then develop it at the same size, same light and everything, and put it in front. And so you were just looking at the space and just seeing nothing, and then suddenly you say, oh, what is this? And there was the pictures there that you couldn't see them, you know. So it was like pieces of wall coming in front, but it was simply the picture. All turning around the same idea of in fact, it's nothing, you know, because I'm just taking something from the air and I frame, not even frame it, you know, just put it like this in front, and you don't see it, you know, you don't see it, but you see it. So it's like a...
Is it okay if I say something?
Sure.
Yeah, because I went to the studio where he's working for the first time. You remember?
Yeah.
And I was actually walking around in the studio, and he said, "Oh!" And then he had taken a picture of the floor and put the picture on the floor. So actually, I couldn't see the art, but I almost walked on it. And it was and it was also such a it was a new way of look at art for me. Even if I work with art like every day, it was like and it really like woof. So that's a very interesting way of working. And you had it also on the wall and.
It's not so what to see, but it's more of how you see it.
Yeah,
you know?
yes.
So this is like a medium, or brings you out of the common way of seeing things, you know, and brings you to another side and open up your mind to other possibilities. And that's a little bit the intention, hiding between. I like to hide the intentions. No? I don't like to show them too much. I like to let the viewer make his own reasoning, you know, like to her what happens when she sees all these things, and so she makes all this. That's because she has this mind, and so that's what happens, And this is interesting, because for me, for me personally, the piece of art has always two creators. One will be me, and the other one will be the viewer. So it's always two people. Very important, to create. It's one me, and the other one, the one who sees, that creates also this thing. If not, it will not. If I will do it by myself, for me, it will not exist. It exists when also the viewer can see it and makes his own trip.
For me, it was really. Your pictures has a really calm feeling about them. When you just stand in front of one, and there's a really nice, warm calmness about them. Do you think, is that something that is there something in the society today that maybe
well, there is this avalanche. There's like so many information that we are receiving every day with the social media and the ads in the street and the words and the things, and this kind of things also made me want to, hit all these things, and try to change them and start like a little new language or something that make me able to walk in this world more comfortably, That's why I make these silent things also. It's probably because of this, because all this so much information that we receive that most of it it's useless maybe.
Interesting, because the advertising boards, which are empty, when you see them, they are so empty, calm, and then you see you have left on the sides quite a bit of the landscape and the sky. And it's a stillness about that, but that it becomes dramatic.
Yes.
In relation to this advertising board that says nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, it's like what happened,
Yes.
Yeah. What was there, or what is it going to be, or why is it there? Totally useless. It's something that happens like this. I don't have control on it, but it happens. And I know it happens, but I don't know when, and I don't know how. It can be driving, like it can be walking on the wood or whatever. It's the same. It's something uncontrolled. The mind suddenly poof goes. It's this.
But wouldn't you say you're talking about emptiness and nothingness, which is the window to be able to see things? Because if you are inundated with images, then you don't see. You know what I mean? Like you said, you mentioned the billboard with the landscape in the background, and for me, it's like you should be seeing the emptiness, which is nature, because there's nothing there. In a sense, we put things in which we look at. So you are expressing yourself in what you do in your pictures. So what do you feel? I mean, what is your message about nothingness? What are the advantages which you can tell us and tell yourself in pursuing that? Because with emptiness you can focus, like you were talking about. When you create, you can't think about it because it's so complex and isn't a nothingness, and all your experiences, dimensions you draw on, and it's too complex to think about. And then this intuitive process of who you are and what you know will come forth, and the better you get at it, the strong and more compelling the picture will be. Okay.
Well, in fact, it's not so much something I want to say or want to express. Maybe one of the things will be, I can say, it's open up the mind to a possibility, create a possibility for the viewer, as for me, because I myself I'm a viewer as well.
Absolutely.
To open a window to a possibility to anything.
Sure. I'm saying there's a political aspect to what you're saying, because you're saying I'm seeing this differently, and through what you're showing, where you said those words were provocative, or these can be provocative. There's nothing there. There's nothing to settle you. So you're in this void, which we all should be in. Because if you know something, you decide, then you can't see it because you're close. So that's what I'm saying. Like as a message, like that is important because that can make a change to people's life. Because that is the not the aggression, but that is something which makes people uncomfortable. That you don't have all these references. And so that's what I'm saying. When you speak about nothingness, that's why it is interesting. Because it opens you up. You become, hey, I'm the person, we're all people, and we're all here, and let's get on together and let's have a nice time together.
We are all on the same.
So I'm saying, absolutely, we're all exactly the same. We just have different things. You were born differently. All that, whatever. So that's what for me is interesting. That basically is political. You're putting something on the table, and people have to actually have a relationship with that.
What I expect from the viewer is to be active. Active. When you see this, you become active. Like something happens to you. And because there's nothing, so it's. I mean, I don't know. There's millions of interpretations, but one of those will be this.
I think there must be advantage to any interpretation for the person. It must give them something. You know what I mean? That's my base. It should be positive, whatever the thing is. It might be negative or whatever the picture, but there should be something which liberates you, which makes things more uncluttered in your world. Because then you can see there is direction. Otherwise, you're blind. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So there's a very strong message that can it permeates everything. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Well, it's the opposite side. They get together, because the nothingness. It's very close to the absolute, to the everything.
They're the same thing.
So they are very close.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. No.
So, we're in the same way. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy.
We understand.
I was a bit angry with you.
Good. We'll talk later if you want. We'll keep talking. Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
You said that your parents did have so much art everywhere in every little corner. Do you think you might unconsciously be like cleaning up after your parents or something?
You're not too wrong. Yeah, and not only in a physical way, but also maybe in a mental way as well. Yeah. It's maybe my mission for them is to bring them to clean.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
And I will also ask you about next project. What are you going to do?
Well,
leave here.
This is the beginning of something that is going to become more and more as a concrete project. I'm planning a book with a recopilation of all these pictures I have, make like an empty book, things. And what else? I don't know. Things are coming, I never know what is going to happen until it happens, I didn't know that I was going to do it. It was suddenly a necessity that came up, and so I did it because I needed to do it. It's a way where I feel comfortable and I match almost all the points that I was struggling against. So it's very nice. Yeah, and I feel happy for doing it.
Thank you.
Do you do any other kind of art forms like painting or stuff?
Writing a lot.
Yeah.
Film is also something I feel like this is a sort of film language also. And
so finally, how many days have you been here to Hälsingland?
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
You arrived on Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
So, any emptiness?
No, actually, as I was saying to her yesterday, I had a really good sensation being here. My first time also in Sweden and here. Very nice sensation with people. I won't talk about the landscape because obviously they are beautiful. The woods. That's God's hands, and it's just perfect. And that this is wonderful. But the people, I really feel good, and I like it. Yeah, I think it's very curious people, open mind, and nice exchanges and good spirits. Yeah, good vibes.
Good spirits.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Yeah, that's what I can say.
And that is what we feel about your art. So I like to thank you, and I think we will give him an applause. And I would like to give you a little something to remind us of.
Oh.
It's a book about Per Jonsson, the choreographer, which comes from this region.
The one
we have talked about
earlier.
earlier.
Talked about the other day.
Yes, and it's a lot in Swedish. But it's